Welcome to Space Matrix. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. The USS Higgins, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, was ordered to conduct a freedom of navigation operation in the South China Sea. The objective sail within 12 nautical miles of a reef claimed by Beijing, reinforcing that international waters remain open. For the 300 aboard, the mission felt anything but routine. Tension gripped the ship as young sailors checked their gear, aware this was no drill. The adversary was real, the rapidly expanding People's Liberation Army Navy. Commander Eva Rostova stood on the bridge, reviewing intelligence, expecting radio warnings, close shadowing, maybe a fishing militia. The crew knew they were a message from Washington, sent into a potential flashpoint. The world had changed, the old script felt outdated. Final checks were made as dawn broke over the Pacific. Radar arrays spun, the Combat Information Center buzzed with quiet focus. Every sailor understood their role: uphold international law, show the flag, but avoid escalation. Operation Sentinel's passage was underway, but to the crew, it felt like poking a sleeping dragon. They were ready, but uneasy. This time, the dragon might not just stir. The mission was clear, but the risks were higher than ever. The Higgins pressed forward, a symbol of resolve in uncertain waters. The crew braced for whatever response awaited. The spear was pointed, and the dragon was watching. As the Higgins entered the South China Sea, the ocean grew crowded. Fishing trawlers, shifting radio chatter, and a heavy sense of anticipation. Every radar contact was scrutinized. Every vessel could be a shadow. The ship neared Fiery Cross Reef, a fortified Chinese outpost bristling with missiles and runways. The planned sail past, assert freedom of navigation, and test China's response. The first blips appeared on radar. Fast, military, unmistakable. Two planned destroyers and a frigate took up escort positions, boxing the Higgins in. Their message was clear: you are not alone. This is our domain. Tension on the bridge was palpable, orders given in hushed tones. The American destroyer held course, unwavering as the Chinese ships matched speed. It was a test of wills, a slow-motion standoff on open water. The sun beat down, but a chill ran through the crew. This was no routine shadowing. It felt like being herded by patient predators. The dragon's lair was well guarded and the Higgins was deep inside. The crew's professionalism masked their anxiety. Every move was watched, every decision critical. The approach was nearly complete. The real test was about to begin. The line was about to be crossed. The world was watching. The radio crackled. "American warship, this is the Chinese Navy. You are entering Chinese territorial waters. Change course immediately." The Higgins replied calmly, "We are conducting innocent passage in accordance with international law." The ritual exchange masked real danger. The standoff was underway. The Chinese destroyer CNS Xi'an edged closer, tightening the net. Lookouts reported every detail. Chinese sailors watched back, no gestures, just cold stares. The Higgins held course, but pressure mounted. On the horizon, a fleet of blue-hulled fishing trawlers appeared. China's maritime militia. They formed a loose screen, complicating the Higgins' path. This was gray zone warfare. Harass without open conflict, blur the line between civilian and military. The Chinese radio messages grew more insistent. "You are endangering peace. Leave immediately." Commander Rostova listened, expression unreadable. The Higgins was now surrounded, warships, militia, and a wall of pressure. China demonstrated control, not just protest. The dance was crowded, the danger real. The American mission was being tested at every turn. The crew felt the squeeze, every option fraught with risk. The Chinese strategy was sophisticated, multi-layered, and relentless. The standoff was escalating. The next move would decide everything. Suddenly, the script changed. As the Higgins neared Fiery Cross Reef, the Chinese destroyer Xi'an surged forward, crossing directly in front, a bold, aggressive maneuver. The bridge fell silent as the officer of the deck called out the shrinking distance. Rostova ordered a speed reduction to avoid collision. The Xi'an passed within 100 yards. Then the Xi'an slowed, blocking the Higgins' path, a naval roadblock. Simultaneously, the maritime militia trawlers converged, forming a dense wall. The Higgins was boxed in, destroyers ahead and astern, militia on the flanks. The freedom of navigation mission had hit a literal wall. China had flipped the script, turning the U.S. message of resolve into a demonstration of Chinese control. The escalation was calculated, humiliating, and unanticipated. The Higgins' mission was now at a standstill. Beijing had seized the initiative, dictating the terms of the encounter. The crew realized their mission had been turned against them. The boomerang had returned. The Higgins' objective was now impossible. Commander Rostova faced a stark choice. push through and risk conflict, or back down and concede. Communications with 7th Fleet headquarters were tense and urgent. Every minute blocked was a visible American defeat, images sure to be broadcast by Chinese media. Rostova made the only safe call: alter course. The Statham turned away, shadowed by the Xi'an. The Chinese sent a final message. This area is under our jurisdiction. We welcome peaceful passage but will not tolerate provocation. The mission had failed, publicly and professionally outmaneuvered. China had demonstrated a new doctrine, not just protest but physical intervention. The boomerang effect was complete. US resolve had been met and bested by Chinese control. The world had witnessed a shift in power. The Statham's retreat was long and somber, shadowed by Chinese warships for miles. The crew's pride was wounded. They had performed flawlessly, but the outcome felt like defeat. In Washington, the boomerang mission became a case study in miscalculation. Planners had relied on old patterns, underestimating China's willingness to escalate and its use of maritime militia. The phone-op had inadvertently helped Beijing solidify its grip on the South China Sea. Political fallout was immediate. Critics called it reckless, supporters called it necessary. The mission exposed a deep strategic dilemma. Standing up to China was riskier than ever, but backing down was unacceptable. For Rostova and her crew, the lesson was clear. The competition with China was now operational, not theoretical. The rules were changing, and China was writing many of them. The Statham sailed home, knowing the next mission would be even more dangerous. The world had changed in a single passage. The boomerang mission marked a turning point in US-China naval relations. China had moved beyond symbolic protests, enforcing its claims with real power. The incident forced the US Navy to rethink its entire strategy in the Indo-Pacific. Simple phone-ops were no longer enough. Future missions would require more force and greater risk. This cycle of escalation is dangerous, each side compelled to show strength, each encounter riskier. The mission emboldened China and shook regional confidence in US resolve. Beijing's message was clear. China is the dominant power in its neighborhood. The seas are shrinking as both powers jostle for position. The boomerang mission is a warning. The old scripts are obsolete, and the risk of miscalculation is higher than ever. Every future patrol will carry the weight of this incident. The question is no longer if a confrontation will happen, but how it will be managed.